a good Friday morning. Thank you for tuning in to the Gardener's Corner program, a Friday feature here on WKRX 96.7 FM and TV Channel 10, available at Charter Communications on Channel 191. The Gardener's Corner program is brought to you today by T.G. Brooks Company and South Boston Memorials. My name is Rob Hall. Glad to have you here with us. Without further ado, I would like to make welcome all the way from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, Mr. Carl. I brought a poinsettia plant to show and tell today. Cantaloupe.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Carl. How are you?
Just great, just great.
Good to see you, my friend.
You too.
Now, those of you that are watching on TV, you can see just a little corner of the poinsettia plant that Carl brought as he brings it a little bit more into view. That is going to be one of the things that we talk about today, poinsettias and mistletoe, along with other things. But we are live in the studio today, so just want to invite you to give us a call, and we'll be glad to answer any question that you may have. The last show last week was on Friday after Thanksgiving, and we actually pre-recorded the program because Carl actually had holiday travel plans. Carl, before we get into the show, tell us where your Thanksgiving travel plans took you to.
To southwestern Michigan.
To Michigan. Wow.
Got a little snow up there, but not too much, and it snowed a couple of inches, but that was all that. While we were there, it snowed a week before, but then they had rain, which got rid of most of it. So the driving was pretty good going up and back.
And Carl has family ties up that way, so glad that he was able to make it up there for a more or less an extended holiday.
Right.
He actually took the whole week off of Thanksgiving, but glad to have him back in the studio. Now, Carl, here we are in the Christmas season. Now, I know one of the different groups that you play the clarinet with, you all will be having some holiday concerts coming up.
Right. Well, it's good that it's nice that you mentioned that, Rob. Yeah, the Vance Granville Community Band will be having their Christmas concert on Tuesday, December the 9th at Vance Granville Community College, the main campus in Henderson, in the Civic Center at 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's a free concert. So invite everybody to come out, and I think everybody will enjoy the concert.
And that will be this upcoming Tuesday. And you say it's going to be at the college?
That's right.
Okay, so be sure to check that out. And Carl, now that you mentioned the band, we need to maybe get it worked out sometimes to where you all could maybe do a little concert here in Roxborough.
Yeah, I'm
sure
that
would be possible.
I think so. Sure.
What would be great, last night in Uptown Roxborough was Jingle on Main.
Oh.
And it was a lot of festivities going on in Uptown Roxborough. Had a little bit of rain come through, but it really did not dampen the spirits. Had a real good crowd on hand. And they had, music at Thomas and Oakley, and also at Cole's Pharmacy. And then up at Merritt Commons, they had some different, things going on up there. They had the lighting of the 17-foot Christmas tree. But, yeah, maybe sometimes another we can get it worked out to where y'all could come up here and put on a concert, and I know that the people in the area would really and thoroughly enjoy it.
What might be a good location for us is that gazebo there.
Yes, at Merritt's Commons, yes.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Yes. And, Carl, have you been by there lately?
No, I mean just passing by on the way to the post office.
Well, when you get the opportunity, sometimes stop and look at the Newtown clock that has been donated by the Rotary Club.
Okay.
And it's really quite neat. I've been by there several times to look at it, and actually went by and looked at it last night, and it's right there, at Merritt Commons. And so a big thank you to the Rotary Club, because I think it is a really nice addition to Uptown Roxborough.
Yeah.
And the Christmas decorations are really, really beautiful up there too, and so glad to see it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a nice place to have a spring concert.
Yes, it would. It sure would.
It looks like there's enough parking there for people.
And maybe I could take a few singing lessons between now and then, and maybe I could sing "Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine." Do you have sheet music for that, for the clarinet?
No, maybe though. As far as singing, maybe I'll hum a few bars and then fake the rest.
There you go. All right. Well, Carl, it's time for us to get down to business.
Right.
So where are we going to start at today?
Well, being that we mentioned the poinsettia or poinsettia, however you want to say it, before we talk about how to care for them, I think it's good time to review some old myths that have been promulgated throughout the years, and people always ask, are poinsettia plants really toxic? Oh, okay, our cameraman here got zooming up on it.
That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Well, actually, I'll shift gears here. Well, maybe I'll talk about how to care for it first, because this way I'll take it up here and hold it. A lot of people, when they get poinsettias, they will get them, as you see here, with the decorative foil around the pot. And when you water it, if you water it from the top, the water's going to collect right in the base here. And what you'll have, this will swell up with water, and then if you spring a leak in it, it's going to get all over everything. So what you should do is take a pencil, and this is in a plastic pot. Just take a pencil and feel with the pencil to where the holes are in the bottom of the pot, and poke holes through the foil so that the pot can drain, and then of course put it on a saucer. And then once the water finishes draining throughout into the saucer, then discard that water. So the thing to remember here is you don't want to have a buildup of water in the bottom of this pot. Otherwise, root rot will start to occur, and then that spells the end of the plant. But when you look at a poinsettia, you should examine it and make sure that it's got a lot of nice, healthy green leaves or bracts, and free of insects or diseases, and so make your selection using these methods. And then when you get your poinsettia, the best thing to do is to wait until the end of your shopping trip, then purchase it, and then take it home, so that it doesn't get injured by the cold, because it is a tropical plant.
Well, Carl, that is a beautiful plant, and it almost looks like it's more or less a silk plant because of the colors and everything on it. It's so shiny and pretty, but it is a really beautiful poinsettia, and I'm glad that you brought it in. And
sure.
So now, after someone has bought a poinsettia like that, and they have, punched a couple of drain holes through the foil, and they've got it sitting in a saucer, or maybe a large, maybe like a pie pan or a plate or something like that.
Right.
What care should be given? I mean, how do you know when to water the poinsettia?
Well, first, place it in a sunny window or the brightest area of the room without letting it touch the cold window panes. Temperature should be between 65 and 75 during the day, and 60 to 65 at night, Do not place the poinsettia on top of a TV set. Well, I guess if I should say, if you have an older TV set, the newer ones don't have a wide top anymore, because temperatures above 75 degrees will shorten the bloom life. Examine the potting soil daily. When it becomes dry to the touch, water the plant with lukewarm water so some water runs out of the drainage holes, as we said before. Then discard the drainage water. Poinsettias don't like wet feet. And repotting is not necessary during the winter. And a lot of plants will hold their blooms until spring, when they can be cut back and set outdoors. As days lengthen and light intensity increases in March, side shoots often develop below the leaves or the bracts. And if the old leaves have fallen and the bracts have faded, the old stems may be cut back to about 6 inches above the soil. The plants may also be repotted at this time with a commercial potting soil, or a mixture of 2 parts of soil, 1 part of sphagnum peat moss and 1 part of sand. If there's more than 1 plant in the pot, the plants can be divided and potted individually. Reduce the watering frequency in proportion to the amount of foliage removed from the plant. And poinsettias can be grown indoors as foliage plants in the summer, or moved outside. When the danger of frost is over, poinsettias may be grown outdoors. Choose a calm, sunny location with some protection from midday and afternoon sun. Sink the pot to the rim in a well-drained soil. Rotate the pot every 2 weeks to break off the roots growing out of the drainage hole. Then fertilize monthly according to the fertilizer directions on the water-soluble fertilizer that you buy. And check the water needs frequently, because the soil can dry out quickly in the summer because it's in that pot. You can take it out of the pot and grow it in the soil, but then if you want to move that plant back inside that fall and winter, if it's already in the pot, all you have to do is pull it up and it'll come right up. And that's why every month or so rotate the pots, so you break roots off.
Well, that I was going to ask, why were you suggesting to rotate the pot, every so often, and that I understand. So you could pull the pot out of the ground, and if you had a new piece of the decorative foil, put it on there, and you know what? Nobody would never know.
That's right.
That you had raised it yourself unless you told them. So that's pretty neat. Fact or fiction? Eating poinsettia leaves will make you sick.
Well, according to Paul Bachman, who is the former marketing chairman of the Society of American Florists, he says the poinsettia is simply not toxic. According to a national poll, half of Americans mistakenly believe that they are. And researchers at The Ohio State University over 30 years ago conducted tests that measured the effects of ingesting unusually high doses of all parts of the plant, including the leaves, stem, and the sap, and they found that the plant to be non-toxic. According to Poisindex, the information resource used by a majority of the U.S. poison control centers, a 50-pound child would have to eat more than 1¼ pounds of poinsettia leaves, which is about 500 to 600 leaves.
Wow.
To exceed the experimental doses that found no toxicity. However, it's not recommended that you eat any. Like other food items, if ingested, the poinsettia may cause some stomach discomfort, but nothing more. Well, why does this rumor persist? Back in 1919, an Army officer's 2-year-old child allegedly died after eating a poinsettia leaf. While never proved by medical or scientific fact, and later determined to be hearsay, the story has taken a life of its own. And the Society of American Florists worked with the Academy Faculty of Entomology at The Ohio State University to exhaustively test all parts of the poinsettia. And OSU researchers established that rats exhibited no effects, no mortality, no symptoms of toxicity, and no changes in dietary intake or general behavior patterns when given unusually large amounts of different poinsettia parts. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission accepts animal tests as valid indicators whether any product or natural growth is harmful to human health. In 1975, the Consumer Product Safety Commission denied a petition to require warning labels for poinsettia plants. And according to the American Medical Association's Handbook of Poisonous and Injurious Plants, it states that other than occasional cases of vomiting, ingestion of the poinsettia plant has been found to produce no effect. The toxicity myth is widespread. 57% of women said they believe poinsettias to be toxic, compared to 42% of men. Americans aged 25 to 49 are also more likely to suffer poinsettia phobia than those aged 50 or over. 57% of Americans living in the Northeast believe the myth versus 44% of those who live in the West. And Bachman states, despite its continued circulation, the myth of the poinsettia is gradually losing steam. It may just have to run its course. But we do want people to know that there's absolutely no reason to miss out on this favorite holiday plant. Spread the word. As with all household plants, toxic or otherwise, keep them away from small children. So that's a little bit about the poinsettia, and hopefully should dispel the myth.
Well, Carl, you said that the poinsettia is a tropical plant.
Right.
Well, how did it become more or less a plant of the Christmas season?
Okay, that's a good thing. I should have looked up, but I can tell you this: this plant was brought to the United States from Central America from Joel Robert Poinsett. Poinsett was a U.S. ambassador in Mexico, and he's credited with the bringing of the plant into the United States. And you know, the reasoning why it I need to look up as to why it symbolizes the Christmas flower.
Well, I've wondered because of it being red and green, and you know, Christmas colors are red and green a lot. So,
Well,
but it is
we'll
a beautiful plant. Now, Carl, did you pick that up from a local nursery, or?
Actually, this was gotten. The extension service was ordering poinsettias for the holidays, so I.
Well, that's really pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it in.
Oh, sure. I figured it's a good thing to show, and especially as to the care.
And you know what? Between us two thorns, we need a beautiful flower, don't we?
That's right.
We're going to get a word on for T.G. Brooks Company. We'll take a trip to downtown Timberlake. You know, Carl, T.G. Brooks Company's been in business since 1936. You know, whether you need a cold beverage, a snack, or maybe you need some just friendly chitter-chatter, plumbing supplies, Taylor wood stove supplies, fertilizer, mulch by the scoop, all this and much, much more can be found at T.G. Brooks Company.
And now we're here at that special time of the year when we have the opportunity to go out to T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake. And Roy Brooks and Bill Brooks always have the top 10 gift suggestions to put under the tree. So here we go with the 2014 top 10 gift suggestions. Bill and Roy Brooks.
Number 10 this year, David, on our top 10 for Christmas is always a favorite, the Radio Flyer wagons and tricycles, in stock now.
Number 9 is an all-time favorite and simple. It's the Case knives.
Number 8, always a kid's favorite, snow sleds. Right here, we've got the plastic and the metal ones in stock.
Number 7 is the Ranger insulated boots.
Number 6, cast iron cookware for all your cooking and baking needs during the Christmas season.
Number 5, bulk hardwood mulch. Make the house look beautiful for Christmas.
Number 4, we have in stock now the portable infrared Comfort Glow electric heaters. A great heater for any space you need heat in.
Number 3, an all-time favorite, hoop cheese. By the hoop or by the pound.
Number 2, we have a good selection of gas cooking and heating appliances for all the cold weather needs you may encounter.
And number 1 on our list, as always, is the famous country hams. Come and get one.
Thank you so much. The top 10 from T.G. Brooks Company, wishing you and your family the very best Christmas season ever. 2014 Top 10 from T.G. Brooks Company.
Oh, yeah, how about that top 10 list from T.G. Brooks Company? You know, whether it's a country ham, hand-cut ribeyes, maybe a case knife, you know what, head on down and see them right there at T.G. Brooks Company. Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall, Mr. Carl Cantalupi from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. I noticed in the newspaper this past Wednesday, Carl, that yourself, along with the graduates of the Master Gardener's course, had a photo op there in the newspaper.
That's right.
And I understand that you had a really good class of students for the Master Gardeners program, and that a lot of them left with intent and had some really good ideas of things that they wanted to take from the Master Gardeners program and more or less share them with the people around them, so to speak.
That's right. We had 23 people graduate from the program, and right now, several of the Person County Master Gardeners stepped up to do projects in the coming year, and the first project has actually already been started back in August. Two of the members had a vacant lot located close to where they live in town, and they're going to turn that into community gardening for the local residents that live in the area. And then later on in the spring, some want to start weeding and beautifying the area that was planted a couple of years ago. That's next to the Person County Farmers Market on Madison Boulevard, to kind of clean up that area, plant some new things. And I think what they really want to do is plant a pollinator garden there. So they have a lot of plans to really make the area look nice, and so I'm happy for them, and wish them good luck.
Carl, what is a pollinator garden?
It's a garden that attracts
pollinate.
Yeah, insects.
Oh.
It attracts pollinating insects that are so important to a lot of our crops, especially as far as vegetables are concerned, the vine crops, cantaloupe, cucumbers, watermelon, and squash. So it attracts bees and butterflies and other insects that are valuable in the pollination of crops.
Well, you know, it's a program that comes on PBS sometimes. I've also seen it on RFD TV, and it's called American Heartland.
Okay.
And it's a very enjoyable program to me. It's 30 minutes long. Have you ever watched it, Carl?
I don't think I have, no.
Well, basically the program is about, you know, agriculture.
Okay.
And they do a lot of focusing on people and companies that raise produce. They do a lot of things on, you know, people that's in livestock business and community gardens and community farmers markets and things. Well, they done a segment on the show that I actually saw several days ago on someone that was raising chili peppers.
Okay.
And
what part of the country?
You know, Carl, I'm thinking California, but
okay, I was going to think California, Texas, and Oklahoma raise a lot of them too.
And it was pretty interesting, the amount of chili peppers that was being raised on this farm. And when you say chili peppers, from what I gathered, you're talking about a wide variety of peppers.
That's right.
Jalapeno, habanero, just cayenne, the list goes on and on. But they were coming up with some hybrid breeds of, you know, these chili peppers. And they like had the plants covered in netting to where any bees or any other
Oh, they were doing
insects
plant breeding work. Okay.
couldn't get in there to, cross-pollinate or
That's-
anything.
that's
And
right.
So thought that was pretty interesting. But they was also saying that when you cut a pepper in half, a lot of people think that the heat of the pepper comes from the seed, but it actually comes from like the membrane and the oils that's in it. And speaking of that, to lead into what I was going to say, we've got a new sponsor that's going to be coming on board with us here on the Gardener's Corner program. They're going to be advertising with us a couple of weeks a month, and it's Sandling Golf Cars in Oxford.
Oh, okay.
Well, I happened to be down at their location a few weeks ago, and this gentleman brought by a mixed box of produce. It was some pole beans, jalapeno peppers, and oranges. Well, the guy had been down to Florida and brought some produce back. Well, they were very gracious and kind and gave me some of the jalapenos, pole beans, and oranges. And the jalapeno peppers were hot.
Yeah.
The pole beans, my mother fixed them, were really good. But just what I'm getting at is I love peppers, and I've seen a sign in a Mexican restaurant that says, "A day without a chili pepper is like a day without sunshine." So what I'm getting at is a lot of people associate peppers with being hot, and it is a lot of them out there, but it also is a lot of peppers that are not hot but can add a lot of flavor to your dishes and things like that.
Oh, yeah. There's a variety of different peppers, and you mentioned chili peppers, and we have a large grower in Granville County that grows a whole variety of peppers, and what determines the degree of heat in the pepper is they measure the hotness by means of its capsaicin content, and a guy by the name of Scoville charted these on a scale, and it's known as the Scoville scale, and the higher the number, the hotter the pepper is. And some of the ones called the I'm thinking of it's a turban type of it's a habanero. Those are one of the most the hottest the highest Scoville unit containing peppers. So you have the chili peppers, and then you have what we call the paprika peppers. These are actually grown in Texas and Oklahoma and in other arid, dry climates, and they are allowed to the fruits are allowed to dry on the plant. Then the dried pods are harvested, and they're shipped in bags to companies. Well, there's one company I think is still in operation in Michigan that actually grinds up the peppers, and they make they extract the oils and they make spices out of it. So, but
well, peppers play a big part in the food we eat.
Yeah.
It certainly does. Carl, now I guess the producer that you were talking about in Granville County is Bailey Farms,
right?
And I understand that they have some farms in Florida as well.
That's correct.
But they really have a big setup in Granville County. And peppers is what they specialize in. They sure do.
That's right.
And a lot of times when you buy different sauces and peppers, if you look at the label closely, it usually has a heat indicator label on it.
That's right.
And so that's something that is kind of good to look for. And one hot sauce that is made here in North Carolina is Texas Pete. Well, a lot of people love Texas Pete on everything from hot dogs to chicken, to just about anything imaginable. But, and I'm not doing a commercial for Texas Pete, But Texas Pete has a hotter than hot sauce now.
Oh, yeah?
And I must say, it is a lot hotter than the Texas Pete. So the next time you're in the grocery store, Carl, and you're in the section of where they sell the sauces and things like that, pick up you a little bottle of that hotter than hot Texas Pete.
A little dab will do you.
Yes, it will. A little dab goes a long, long way. By the way, we are live in the studio today, and
Yeah, we need some calls.
599-0266, 599-0266. And my apologies, that is one thing that I'm kind of bad about, getting sidetracked. But anyway, we are taking live telephone calls today, and we would love to hear from you. Also, Carl, less than 3 weeks away from Christmas, man.
It is. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. Get your Christmas shopping done.
That's right. The year has really, really went by fast. It sure has. Now, Carl, any other topics of hand as far as information you want to share about the poinsettias?
Not poinsettias, but another particular plant that is used around Christmas time is the mistletoe. Now, we said the poinsettia is not poisonous, but you really need to be aware of the mistletoe plant because it is very poisonous. Broadleaf mistletoe is an evergreen parasitic plant that grows on a number of landscape tree species, as you see in the picture here. These leafy mistletoes have green stems with thick leaves that are nearly oval in shape. Plants often develop a roundish form up to 2 feet or more in diameter. The small, sticky, whitish berries, as you see in this slide, are produced from October to December. Evergreen clumps of mistletoe are readily observed on deciduous trees in winter when the leaves are off in the trees. And mistletoe plants are either female, the female plants produce the berries, or male plants produce only pollen. The berries of the female plant are small, sticky, and whitish. They are very attractive to birds such as cedar waxwings, robins, and others. The birds feed on and digest the pulp of the berries, excreting the living seeds that stick tightly to any branches on which they land. In most cases, the initial infestation occurs on larger or older trees because birds prefer to perch in the tops of taller trees. A heavy buildup of mistletoe often occurs within an infested tree because birds are attracted to the berries and may spend a good deal of time feeding on them. In addition, seeds may fall from mistletoe plants in the upper part of the tree, creating new infestation on the lower branches. The rapidity with which mistletoe spreads is directly related to the proximity and severity of established infestations, and newly planted trees can be quickly infested if they are growing near old, heavily infested trees. After the mistletoe seed germinates, it grows through the bark into the tree's water-conducting tissues, where root-like structures called haustoria develop. The haustoria gradually extend up and down within the branch as the mistletoe grows. Initially, the parasitic plant grows slowly. It may take years before the plant blooms and produces seed. Old, mature mistletoe plants may be several feet in diameter, and on some host species, large swollen areas develop on the infected branches where the mistletoe penetrates. If the visible portion of the mistletoe is removed, new plants often resprout from the haustoria. Broadleaf mistletoes absorb both water and mineral nutrients from its host trees. Healthy trees can tolerate a few mistletoe branch infections, but individual branches may be weakened or sometimes killed. Heavily infested trees may be reduced in vigor, stunted, or even killed, especially if they are stressed by other problems such as drought or disease. So, care should be taken when using mistletoe for holiday decorations. All parts of the plant, including the fruits, are poisonous when ingested. Symptoms of poisoning include gastric upset, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. One fatality has been reported from the ingestion of a tea made from the fruit. So keep mistletoe away from small children who who are likely to place the plant in their mouths. Instruct older children and adults not to eat this plant. Handling the plant has not been reported to be a problem. However, it's advisable to wash your hands before eating after handling mistletoe. So, a word to the wise is, don't try to put mistletoe in your mouth, and definitely keep the mistletoe far away from children.
Hang around the mistletoe, but don't eat it.
That's right.
Hey, we've got a phone call.
All right.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Yes, I got some blueberries I planted about 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and they are shooting straight up.
Okay.
Do I need to clip the tops out of those?
No. These are probably coming up right from the base of the plant, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Blueberries produce their fruit on 1-year-old wood. So if you clip them off, there goes all your fruit next year.
Yeah.
So the way you prune blueberries is every year inspect the plants and remove the very large, thick canes right at ground level. And so
These are only 3 years old.
Yeah, okay. Well, it'd probably be a few more years, but no, you don't want to prune the shoots off. You might want to thin them out a little bit, but all the growth on the plant that has grown this year, the brand new growth, that's where your fruit's going to be next year. So when pruning blueberries, the best thing to do is to remove growths that are growing in towards the center of the plant, branches that are crossing and rubbing on each other. So you do that first, and then you can possibly lightly tip some of those branches. But again, remember that growth is all 1 year, and you want to be careful when you don't want to take all of them back. Otherwise, you won't have any fruit.
Okay. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thanks
you.
for calling.
Appreciate your call. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Carl, I'll put you under the hot light.
Okay.
Okay. How did it become that people would hang mistletoe in their homes, and why is it that a lot of people like to kiss under the mistletoe?
It's a good question. I've got some more work to do.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll have the answer for you next week.
Okay. All right. Carl,
Yeah.
don't you love it when I ask you a question that I hadn't told you that I was going to ask you?
It puts me on the spot, but that's okay.
Keeps you sharp to
That's
your
right.
senses.
That's right.
Nothing at all wrong with that.
No census, no feeling.
Well, Carl, can you give us any idea for those of us that turned in soil samples right at the last minute to keep from having to pay the $4 per sample fee, kind of what it's looking like on the turnaround time thus far?
I don't know, but should be able to find out.
And what I'm speaking in reference of, as of I think it was November the 26th, the $4 per sample fee for soil sample analysis testing went into effect, and that $4 fee will remain in effect until the last of March.
Mm-hmm.
But as of April 1st, that's when they will start the free soil testing. So anyway, just I know Carl had told me that his last trip just before Thanksgiving over to the Department of Agriculture, where they do the soil sample testing, he said that they had a lot of samples. So
They sure did, yeah.
a lot of people that has taken advantage of trying to save that $4 per fee sample. But regardless of the cost, even if you have to pay or you get it done for free, doing a soil sample test, can, while save you money and make you money, you can look at it two different ways, because you may be putting out things that you don't need, and you may be not putting the right things you need
Right.
as far as fertilizer, lime, phosphorus, and all these things, and nitrogen.
Yeah.
So
It's-
go ahead, if you have not done your soil samples, go ahead and bite the bullet and pay that $4 per fee sample. It'll be well money spent.
Right. It's not letting me connect. It's very, the connection is very, very slow here. It's not.
Well,
It's not getting into it.
I probably was not the first one to answer that question in the last 10 minutes. Okay, and so what I'm getting at is, so the service probably had a lot of questions and everything asked upon it.
Yeah.
Here's our information man passing us a bit of information.
Well, what do you know?
along. So,
All right. Kissing under sprigs of mistletoe is a well-known holiday tradition, but this little plant's history as a symbolic herb dates back thousands of years. Many ancient cultures prized mistletoe for its healing properties. The Greeks were known to use it as a cure for everything from menstrual cramps to spleen disorders, and the Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder noted it could be used as a balm against epilepsy, ulcers, and poisons. The plant's romantic overtones most likely started with the Celtic Druids of the 1st century A.D. Because mistletoe could blossom even during frozen winter, the Druids began to view it as a sacred symbol of vivacity, and they administered it to humans and animals alike in the hope of restoring fertility.
ha ha!
Oh, it's surprising that they lived to tell the
I
story.
know it. I know. Wow.
Another famous chapter in mistletoe folklore comes from the Norse mythology. As the story goes, when the god Odin's son Balder was prophesied to die, his mother Frigg, the goddess of love, went to all the animals and plants of the natural world to secure an oath that they would not harm him. But Frigg neglected to consult with the unassuming mistletoe, so the scheming god Loki made an arrow from the plant and saw that it was used to kill the otherwise invincible Baldur. According to one sunnier version of the myth, the gods were able to resurrect Baldur from the dead. Delighted, Frigg then declared mistletoe a symbol of love and vowed to plant a kiss on all those who passed beneath it. Mistletoe's association with fertility and vitality continued through the Middle Ages, and by the 18th century, it had become widely incorporated into Christmas celebrations. Just how it made the jump from sacred herb to holiday decoration remains up for debate, but the kissing tradition appears to have first caught on among servants in England before spreading to the middle classes. As part of the early custom, men were allowed to steal a kiss from any woman caught standing under the mistletoe, and refusing was viewed as bad luck. Yet another tradition instructed the merrymakers to pluck a single berry from the mistletoe with each kiss and to stop smooching once they were all gone. So,
Wow. You know, I don't know how Kilby knew all that off the top of his head, but he was able to transfer that information and get it typed out on a piece of paper where you could read it, Carl.
that's right.
And there we know. Wow. Well, tell you what, we need to get a word on for South Boston Memorials, our sponsor of the Gardeners Corner program today, along with T.G. Brooks Company. But right now, we'll take a trip to South Boston Memorials.
South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia. They offer granite markers, monuments, and mausoleums. For more information, visit the website SoboMemorials.com or call 434-572-3859. South Boston Memorials have been in business and family-owned since 1958. In-house laser etching is available at South Boston Memorials. They have over 300 granite memorials in stock. For all of your granite markers, monuments, and mausoleums, stop in and see them right there at South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia, or call them at 434-572-3859 and visit the website SoboMemorials.com. That's South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston.
Here we are back on the Gardeners Corner program. We appreciate you all tuning in today. And again, if you've got a question or something, we've got about 5 minutes left on the show today. And the program is presented today by South Boston Memorials and T.G. Brooks Company. And we appreciate their support. Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service is our resident expert. And you know what? Over the rest of the fall, winter actually starts in a few weeks. And over the winter months, they have a lot of different publications that is free and available to you from the North Carolina Department of more or less Extension. And they have everything available on how to construct a home greenhouse, to a vegetable garden planting guide.
That's right.
How to more or less start a composting pile. How to catch moles. So it's a lot of information that is free and ready, available to you from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. You can call the local office here in Roxborough at 336-599-1195, or you can call the Granville County Extension Office in Oxford at 919-603-1350.
Right, and for the people that are viewing the show on the TV or on the computer, you see a sheet here called Starting Plants from Seeds, and this is a good one to get from us at the Extension Office. It goes over the proper light that you need, light intensity, seedling flats, potting mix, and it has a chart that shows you when you need to start seeds indoors, whether it be flowers or vegetable seeds. Most people start seeds way too early, so using this publication will help you get off to a good start. Then, of course, our home vegetable gardening guide is always good. It's filled with all kinds of information, including a chart here that tells you the vegetable, the amount of seed you need to get, suggested varieties, the planting times, the days to maturity. And use this publication, and then you can make a map of a garden, and you know your exact plant spacings, what they will be, and then you'll know how much seed or plants to buy so that you don't overbuy. The other publication that Rob was talking about is the composting publication. A very good one to get. Shows you in detail how to make a compost pile, and right now with the leaves, there's no better free source of materials to use as leaves. I don't bother raking leaves anymore. I just ride over them with the lawnmower and just let them decompose naturally into the lawn. You have good organic matter that way. Here's a shot of a compost bin with the alternating layers of different materials. And this shows you different ways of making a bin. The one on the bottom is a three bin that has both fresh compost, one that is starting to decompose, and then the third bin is for one that is ready to use. It tells you all about that. And those that might like to start their own seedlings or seeds in their own greenhouse, we have the publication entitled A Small Backyard Greenhouse for the Home Gardener. Shows you how to inexpensively build a 12 by 18 foot structure in your backyard, and your supports made out of PVC pipe. You see what is required here, and it gives you a list of materials, lets you know exactly what you need to buy.
And that would be a good sized greenhouse of 12 by 15.
That's right.
Again, all of these publications are free. All you have to do is contact your local North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service office, and they can either email these publications to you, or they can send them out by U.S. mail, or you can log on to, what's the website, Carl?
www.ces.ncsu.edu. Again, that's www.ces.ncsu.edu.
All righty, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Gardener's Corner program. We hope that you all enjoyed today's show, and we hope that you found some of the information that Carl shared with you useful. Thanks goes out again to South Boston Memorials and T.G. Brooks Company, our sponsors. If you ever have the opportunity to send some business their way, please do so. And let them know that you appreciate their support on the Gardener's Corner program. And thanks goes out to Mr. Carl. I'm taking my poinsettia plant home, Cantaloupe.
Thanks, Rob.
Have a
Always
great
good.
day, folks. Thanks
Okay.
for tuning in.